Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another StableFund video. I promise I am looking into Optimus and I fully plan on releasing a video on it as soon as I can, but it's quite a complicated project and I don't want to release a half-baked video on it before I actually understand its mechanics. Anyway, I'm making this video because if you hadn't noticed, the StableFund team have entirely drained the MATIC contract to migrate it to a new version due to a looping issue present in its contract. There was also an AMA yesterday where Michael addressed the looping issue and other news, so I'll cover that as well. So this issue exists in the deposit function on the MATIC contract. Interestingly, however, it isn't present in the BNB and BUSD contracts. If we jump over to the MATIC contract, the issue is this line right here. This if not exist in investors call. So if we actually take a look at this function, we will see that it is actually looping over an array that's the length of the total unique investors in the contract. So basically at the moment, there's 10,000 plus users. So every time a deposit is made, the contract is retrieving and iterating over this list of up to 10,000 wallets. So this causes the gas cost of the transaction to increase to the stage where the transactions either fail due to running out of gas or get stuck. Interestingly, this isn't an issue in either the BUSD or BNB contracts, which utilize a much more efficient check for this part of the code that basically just attempts to directly access the deposit wallet in the investor's array and checks whether it is found or not. In my opinion, this suggests that the MATIC contract was written by an inexperienced dev, which is strange given the claimed prowess of the team behind StableFund. This is further supported by some other functions in the MATIC contract, like deposit funds, which is supposed to allow the owner to top up the contract. So if we have a look at the deposit funds function, you'll actually see it's not even implemented. It just returns a boolean without actually doing anything. So this also explains why the team have just been using the normal deposit function to top up the contract. The deposit funds function just straight up isn't implemented on the MATIC contract. This also stresses the importance of audits. Audits are necessary in this space, no matter how good you think your devs are. Imagine if an issue occurred like this that prevented the team from withdrawing or adding capital at all. Everyone's funds would be stuck, and that would be that. Michael has been asked about audits on numerous occasions, and the reason he doesn't want to have an audit completed is because the StableFund contracts would fail miserably. Michael's ability to unilaterally remove all funds from the contracts at a whim would be flagged as a massive security issue. However, I think most people invested are already aware of this possibility anyway. If StableFund is to continue in the long term, the safest option is to have the contracts audited just to flag any other issues similar to what has just been encountered. Interestingly though, if you listen to the recent AMA, you wouldn't think it was the team's fault at all. Michael continually says that the MATIC issue isn't their fault, and that it's an issue with Polygon in general. Whilst there are issues with Polygon at the moment, as we just discussed, that's not the issue with the MATIC contract. Not only that, Michael also takes this opportunity to direct blame onto the investors. He says that if people keep withdrawing their capital, the company will go out of business and everyone will be at a loss. Now, I don't want to accidentally misquote Michael here, so I'm going to play a series of clips from the AMA, and if you're wondering why I'm viewing the StableFund Discord server through an alt, it's because I'm also banned from their Discord on my main account now.
And I've always said this from day one, more the leverage, better the traders can trade. Right now, I'm getting phone calls continuously from the traders that what's happening, why are people moving so many funds out and everything, because they are also scared because they can't open positions depending upon that on the contracts which are linked via API. So you guys need to stop panicking, because if you guys are panicking and withdrawing from other chains like that, this things can go out of control, and then even I can't control it, traders can't control it, so you're hurting your own money. So if you guys want to do that, you can keep doing that. It's not going to be my problem, because I've announced it clearly many times before and I'm doing it now. This is not going anywhere. But if you guys drive it to the drain itself, it's going to go, because it's not in my control other than that. I can keep injecting funds. I can even put fiduciary on it and do things like that. But ultimately, the two bots are created via API. You guys know this from day one. And if you heard that contract so much and traders don't know which side do they trade, what is going to happen? Funds are going to get lost. Everyone's going to make a loss. You guys are responsible for this yourself if you guys do what you're doing. It has nothing to do with me and the traders. That is how trades happen. If you start wiping out the balance, how do traders trade with it? What is going to happen? The company is going to go out of business, right?
So basically, Michael says that if people withdraw their capital, the project will die, because two of the bots directly trade with the contract funds using an API. Now, I've spoken about this before, but I'll mention it again. The contracts do not have functions to support this, nor are there any transactions on the contracts to support this. It's garbage. Additionally, even if it were true, Michael's claims that the fiduciary wallet has a large enough balance to pay out everyone and all their rewards and still have money left over. If this were true, people withdrawing literally wouldn't matter at all. The contract could go to zero, and the team would still have money left to trade with. Interestingly, in the AMA, Hells actually makes a comment that supports the idea that the trading bots can't interact with the contract using an API, and I'll play that now.
With you guys is that you always focus on contract balance. This is not a Ponzi scheme. We said that from day number one. We have no ponzimatics. This is trading, and people can only leverage, or traders can only leverage, if we take the capital and move things around. Okay, so this has to be brain. I don't know what to say, but this has to be burned into your brain. Forget about Ponzi. This is no Ponzi, so no capital balance doesn't matter here. Okay.
And I agree with this. They'd have to take out capital and move money around for the bots to trade with it, which they clearly aren't doing very much of. Additionally, he says that the contract balance doesn't matter. If it doesn't, why do they care so much about users withdrawing their capital? It makes no sense, and they continually make contradictory statements. Everything about this points to one thing, which is basically what I've said all along. It's a Ponzi. They pay out user rewards using other users' deposits. If everyone withdraws all at once, it will collapse. Michael is just preparing in case it happens, so he can blame the investors for not giving the bots enough money to trade with, or something along those lines. Anyways guys, if you have any opinions or feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I'm always happy to have a discussion. Thanks to everyone who's watched this far. Catch you next time. Cheers.